What's up, guys? Nick here. Got a brand new update on my Gear Chronicle premium deck profile. This will be post clan festival or clan selection, whatever it's called, volume 1. Really excited with that set. Brought in a lot of new toys for Gear Chronicle, a lot of nice reprints, and so far this deck is just completely different from my last list. So this is definitely a more stronger list than the last one. I still feel pretty good about the old one, but it's not like super competitive. It's not. I don't think like the deck will win you a lot of games still, but it's really fun. You're gonna have a good time. And then to celebrate the Vanguard 10th anniversary, I also got these new sleeves for my Gear Chronicle deck. Looks really nice, if I say so myself. That black is really cool. I like it. So anyway, let's get into the deck profile. So a lot of cards hasn't really changed. I'm still using V-Series Chronojet as my starter. Still a solid card. You draw a card, or if you go second, you get a quick shield. However you do it, V-Series starters are pretty broken. I wouldn't really use any of the other ones. I still have, for my triggers, 2 Uatar. It's a Generation Break card. Keep in mind, if you're new to Premium, Generation Break does involve you having face-up G unit cards in your G zone or on your Vanguard circle to actually use the skill. But pretty much, it's an auto. Put this unit to the bottom of your deck. When this unit is put into your bind zone from rear, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2, choose a card from your hand, return it to your deck, and shuffle. So it's a really good recycle card. This card is insane. Wish I could put more into the deck, but I think 2 is just enough because you're going to bind cards with this deck still, but not as much compared to other Time Leap decks. This deck, it's not really a Time Leap deck, but it has it in it just as an attack extender. So this card's really good for that purpose, and then you do use it for a little combo later on. And then I also play 2 of the 2019 Premium Collection crits and 4 of the 2020 Premium Collection crits. So the Premium Collection for 2020, the 4 copies, I use it's just a stride fodder. So what that means is that you can discard it for the cost of striding. So it's treated as a grade 3 for stride. It does not count towards any of the other Chronojet skill effects that you'll see in the deck. So just keep in mind it's only for grade 3 striding. And then the Premium Collection 2019, it's actually pretty crucial. We want more cards to go into the soul. This deck does eat soul, so the more soul the better. So that's why I have 2. If anything, you can probably drop the 2 Uatars for 2 more of that. That's also not too bad either. You can do that for sure. And then I have 4 Draw PGs. Draw PG is still really good. It frees up your grade 1 spot, so you do want to have, this deck does use a good amount of grade 1s, so the Draw PG fits that role where I don't have to use the grade 1 perfect guards. And then draw triggers are not bad at all, so draw triggers are really nice. And then these are from the festival collection, no, clan selection, I gotta remember that, clan selection set. This is the triple R foiling, so that's really cool. There is an SP version of this, but I don't have it, so I will use the next best thing. And then finally, I use V-Series heal triggers. Uluru, still really good. 20k shield, 10k power. I have thought about using the counter charge and soul charge heals because that actually would be pretty nice to have. Resource is quite important for the deck. So it is something I'm thinking about, but I still think that the V-Series heal trigger has a little bit more value. But as time goes on, we'll see if we'll make that change. But that's the trigger lineup. for the grade 1s, I think this is what changed the most. It's really pretty good. A lot of it's from the clan selection set, and we have 4 copies of Lost Gear Dog 8. This card is pretty much a strict upgrade from all the Stride Fodders ever created for the sets of old. Really cool. So the effect is, when placed from hand, you reveal a grade 3 or greater card, and then you search your deck for a grade 3, add it to hand, then you discard cards that sums grades equaling 3 or greater. So that's like really like these old Stride Fodder effects. Usually they're restricted though to certain cards. So like some cards you can only search for Chronojet, some cards you can only search for Alt Mile, and so on. So this is the most generic version. Plus, it's 8k, 10k shield, so it's V-Series stats, so that's really good. And then it has a continuous skill where when this card is discarded for a cost, then, or not cost, but when this card would be discarded, it may be discarded as a grade 3, so you can use this as a Stride Fodder. So Stride Fodding is good because you want to stride a lot with the deck. It is Gear Chronicle, so you are going to stride. And then what's really cool, again from the clan selection, so nice triple R foiling. And then the name is Lost Gear Dog 8. So it's a play on real life Japanese culture. So if you don't know what that is, check it out, look it up. It's really cool. Next, for our grade 1s, we have 4 copies of Chrono 2 Tigar. Pretty much this is going to be your grade 1 ride target. At the beginning of your ride phase, you draw a card, so sure, why not? And then when this card would be discarded during your turn, you can counterblast 1, draw a card, and call this card to rest. Pretty useful actually. You can time leap it if it comes back out, because it's rested, it's not going to do anything. And if you get a little lucky and you sack a stand trigger, you can restand it, so that's kind of cool. But the counterblast is a period call and draw, really nice card. Definitely, mainly you use it for the first effect though. You want this as your grade 1 ride target. And then we have 2 copies of Steam Breath Dragon. Still pretty useful. You need to make sure that you have your grade 3 in your hand, so this guy helps you get you there. As you'll see later on in the deck profile, grade 3s is very important. We're running very little of grade 3s, so you have to have a way to consistently get it in your hand, and whatever helps you get you there. So this guy's really good. And then finally, to round up our last grade 1s, we have 4 copies of Steam Mated Ribble. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Probably one of the best cards in the set, to be honest, for the clan selection. This card, we wish this card came out sooner, but it is what it is. This would have made Gear Chronicle really good for standard, and I think it's really good in premium. So her effect is, when you discard this card during your turn, you can Soul Blast 1, call this to rear, she gains 5k, and then you can put a normal unit from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck to draw an additional card. Really strong card. In practice, the way you can do it, like let's say you don't even have anything in your drop zone, and you use this guy's effect. Here's like a little combo here. You use his effect, and you're able to find a grade 3, add the grade 3 to your hand, then you got to discard a card for Steam Breath. So you'll discard her, and then use her effect to Soul Blast 1. So you Soul Blast your starter to Superior Call her back out to the board, and then she gains 5k, and then you can put the Chronodren to the bottom to draw a card. So still really good no matter how you do it. Her effect is pretty strong. It's nice using her effect. It's just really good. And I'll show you with the other cards, because you're going to be discarding a lot during your turn. So still really good. Okay, so let's go into our grade 2s. Not too many cards here. Very simple cards. I use 3 History Maker Dragons. He's a Time Leap unit. Pretty much you gotta have Generation Break 1 to use this effect, which is when he attacks, Counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards, bind it, and then search your deck for a card that's 1 grade higher. So if you bind an Uwatar, the grade 0 stand trigger, then you can search your deck for a grade 1 card, like a Steam Breath, call it, and then use Uwatar's skill. So that's really good. But pretty much History Maker just gives you an extra attack because you can time leap a grade 2 unit to go into grade 3 or a grade 1 unit to go into grade 2. So that's really good. And if you play it in a certain way, you'll have the card stay in the bind zone permanently. That can be relevant in some matchups where you want to get cards in the bind zone, because the G zone for the deck can benefit for having cards in the bind zone. So keep that in mind. History Maker Dragon, really good. Hope he gets a reprint soon though, because he is pretty hard to get. He's not that expensive, but if he's hard to get, he's hard to get. That's the problem. Next we have 3 copies of Steam Gunner Zayad, a new edition. He was from the clan selection, so he has that nice triple R foiling. When he's played, Soul Blast 1, discard a card, draw a card, and choose one of your opponent's rear guards with grade less than or equal to the card you discarded, and then retire it. So a nice removal card. Pretty much if you discard a grade 2, then you can destroy any card on your opponent's side on the field that's grade 2 or below. Grade 1 is grade 1 and below, grade 0, 0 below. So ideally you discard a grade 4 that can kill anything, but you know, it is what it is. Or you can discard her, that's always good. Or discard a T-Gar, that's always good. However you do it. He can hit back row, he can hit front row, whatever you need him to do. He has another skill though, that's pretty useful when he attacks on the rear guard. If you roll a grade 4, you soul charge 1, so getting soul is good. But do keep in mind it has to be roll to grade 4. Stride does not count as riding. Stride and ride is kind of different, so keep that in mind. You don't really use that effect that often. And then to round up our grade 2s, we have 4 copies of Steam Scar Ikrub. He's the reprint card, so really nice card to have. Triple R foiling thanks to the clan selection. So his effect as Vanguard rear guard, you counterblast, discard a card, gains a drive check. Or choose one of your Vanguards and it gains a drive check. So if you write it as your Vanguard, you can choose himself, of course. And then for any of your other units, you are doing either triple drives or quad drives. However you do it, this card is really good. And he's also a stride fodder in hand because he has a continuous skill that he can be discarded as a grade 3. And now if you are playing the grade 2 game, this card is really good because he is twin drives. So that's always nice. For our grade 3s, we are just playing 4 Chronojet Dragons. Really nice card. His axe skill is you discard to do your fake stride, so you're striding from the main deck. And then he has a rear guard Vanguard skill. When he attacks, counterblast, gains 5k, and your opponent can't use Sentinels. Very crucial because this is one of the few decks in Premium in general where you can you're going to be using your Vanguard grade 3 skill. A lot of times since you're striding, you miss out on the Vanguard skill. So that's always cool. And he also works as a rear guard, so that's always nice. This deck does though, I think, you know, we got to find a way to balance that resource issue that we have, because counter blasting, soul blasting, this deck does a lot. But really good card. I like it. Sadly, these are not the ASRs. They are stupid expensive and they're really hard to get. And then to go what's beyond a normal deck, this deck does play grade 4s. So we have 3 copies of Chrono Dragon Next Stage. Really good card. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, if you have Chronojet Dragon in the soul, you discard 2 cards and then you retire it. Ride a Chronojet Dragon as standing, and that unit gets 15k. And you cannot ride. So I don't know, there might be a way to superior ride during the battle phase. 2. So pretty much once you go into Chronojet, you can't ride anymore. But you attack with this guy, going back into him, just like the classic stride. Really good. And then you also give your Vanguard an additional 15k, so Chronojet will be at 28 base. And then if you're stacking force markers, usually I go for force 1, then it's another 10k, so really strong. And then we also have one Time Leaper Dragon. Pretty cool. Get an extra attack, just another attack extender if you need it. Usually I kind of just use it for stride fodder costs, but it is what it is. Usually you're just going to be using the next stage. And then finally we have Metallica Phoenix. This card is still really good. I think that it's probably the only reason why I would kind of probably take this deck to a regionals if I really feel lucky. I probably wouldn't, but I can probably pull it off. Pretty much use Metallica Phoenix if you're going first, because usually you're playing the grade 2 game to get the first stride. But if you push hard enough, this is like your fake stride, so you'll still have your triple drive. And then if you have the Ikrib, the grade 2 card, then you can do a quad drive. You know, depending on the resources you have. Pretty much Metallica Phoenix is just striding, so nice little triple drive. It is vanilla though, sadly, so it's not like you're doing a lot of interesting plays. And then for the G zone, it actually hasn't really changed. I mean, there are some changes I can probably think of to do, but I think that this is the most stable. So I have 4 copies of the G zone version of Next Stage. Really strong card. Pretty much, you gotta have a face-up card already, or it's GB2. Counterblast 1, flip a copy, discard 3 cards, and then you go back into your grade 3 Chronojet. So pretty much another multi-attack. And since you're discarding 3 cards, of course the best things to discard would be obviously Ribble or Tigar. So that's our more attack extender plays. So Next Stage is really good. Always like Next Stage. He's like the mascot for Gear Chronicle for sure, other than Chronojet and Chronodran. Next we have the Premium Collection 2019 card here. History Build Dragon. Really cool card actually. So if he's on the Vanguard or G Zone face up, then all your units with the Time Leap ability gains 3k. So your History Maker will gain some power. That's cool. And then he'll get power himself because he's also a Time Leap unit. So that's always nice. And then he has an auto when it attacks, Soul Blast 1, and turn a card face up. And then you can Time Leap the same number of cards that you have on your face-up G zone. So that's cool. It's also important that he's a Geared Dragon, so his heal can be copied with our other effect. So really good card. We also have 1 copy of the Premium Collection 2020. Kind of hard to see his name. It's like Grog Dragon. I think that's how that's pronounced. Yeah, I don't know. But pretty much it's after he attacks, you counter blast 1, you bind 4 cards, then you can go into your deck. He goes back to your G zone face up. You write a grade 3 or greater card from your deck. So ideally, after you attack with him, you'll go into Next Stage. So you're going to be doing 3 attacks with your Vanguard. So the way it'll work, just so you understand. So you have your Chronojet Dragon as your soul. You have your Grog Dragon as your stride. And, you know, let's say you got this guy out, maybe her, a couple of these, right? Whatever, at least 4 units. So the way it would go is after you attack with your rear guards, you're gonna attack with your Vanguard, do the skill, bind 4. Let's bind these 4. We'll go ahead, bind these 4 like that. And then this goes back to your G zone face up, and then you can ride your deck to the Next Stage. So Next Stage does lose 1 drive thanks to his skill. So it's only 1 drive check. So when you attack, you do your one drive check, and let's say you get hecka lucky, you drive check this, so that's cool. Then you discard 2 cards, so you can discard these 2 cards, and then you can call this out if you have the soul. So more attacking, and then you'll ride it back to Chronojet, and Chronojet attacks again. And then you can counterblast to do the guard restrict. So pretty insane play. I don't know that there's a lot. I mean, there's some clans that can have the Vanguard attack multiple times, but that is always really strong, I think. Then we have 2 copies of Gear Groovy. He pretty much is there to copy next stage. He also has Zodiac Time Beast, which is crucial for a certain card. Think of it like an engine, but you do need that Zodiac Time Beast name, because in our G zone, we also have, for our G Guardians, 2 copies of this card. Pulsar Saver Lishu, I think, or Hishu, I think that's how that's pronounced. Soul Blast 1 gains 5k if you have 1 card in the bind zone. If you have 5 or more, gains another 15k. So it's not really that good. As long as you set up and have cards in the bind zone prior, then of course this will be just as like guarding with a heal trigger, because a heal trigger is a 20k shield, while this is a 15k shield that gains 5 if you have 1 card in the bind zone. Pretty much her name has the Zodiac Time Beast characteristic, so idea is you get 4 of these face up, because we also play Chronovisor Heritage. Very rarely you'll ever go into it, but it is there. It's a nice option. He is the card in Vanguard that's pretty much the a-hole that gets you an extra turn. Very cool effect, very strong. Pretty much at the end of the battle, at the end of your turn, you'll take 4 cards that are face up in your G zone that has the Zodiac Time Beast characteristics, put them back face down, and then when he goes back to the G zone, your turn automatically restarts again. So you'll stand, draw, and then you'll automatically stride into Heritage. So the cards you drive check can be used to get played on the board. If you got locked for some reason, you'll get your free unlock, so that's cool. So you're gonna have a good time. We also have 1 Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze is just good card. You can probably cut him out for a Dismal though, to be honest. And then we also have 2 Hetero Round Dragons, pretty much to kill those tokens, those vision tokens, that Valkyrian, all those a-hole cards that loop out with the stand triggers. Those decks are really annoying. I keep getting killed on the Discord remote fights, so I really wish Bermuda has a way to do it, but you don't. You got Gear Chronicle, you got Kagura, you got Narukami, you got Grand Blue, Great Nature. There might be a few other clans that can get around those tokens, but you know, Bermuda doesn't have it. And then finally, we got 1 Uluru. Pretty much is Counterblast 1, flip a G guard, and then she gains 5k for every face-up card in your G zone. So pretty solid card. Just a high shield card, and Uluru. I like Uluru. So that will wrap up the deck. It's completely different from my last list. I'm really happy how this deck turned out thanks to that clan selection set. I think Gear Chronicle is definitely a more stronger deck where it was. Of course, you can still play the Zarzan Time Leap Unfair deck. That vanilla build is still definitely more viable for sure. But if you wanted to try something more fun, this is like a casual deck, but it's also not that casual. You can definitely win quite a few games if you high roll a little bit. So anyway, that will wrap up my video. Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.